This game has not yet been rated.
Hi, I'm Ed Del Castillo. I'm the president of Liquid Entertainment and the creative director on Dragonshard. And today we're going to talk to you about dungeons and the monsters that live in them. So you couldn't have a Dungeons & Dragons experience without expecting to have some monster encounters. Anybody who's played the paper game knows all about random encounters where they come across a band of bugbears or goblins or orcs. But they've also come to know the monsters that dwell in the deep, the monsters that are underground and typically hide a lot of loot for the players to encounter and find and take home and do all sorts of cool stuff with. Our game is no different. Our game hits right at the core of the D&D experience by bringing monsters to life and by giving you that whole dungeon exploration, looting and sacking experience for the first time ever in a real-time strategy experience. We're really focused a lot on, today, talking about cool goblins and orcs and what makes them different. Well, in the single-player version of the game, they provide the nemesis that you fight in the game, they provide the conflict, they provide the challenge, but they also provide a feeling of story. You're not going to see out-of-place monsters in this world. When you're in the snow waste, you're going to see snow fur-bearing minotaurs. You're not going to see brown minotaurs. When you are in the deep, darkest parts of the underground, you're going to find beholders and mind flayers and gelatinous cubes that are sneaking up on you. Not all monsters are created equal. Some of them have the ability to live on both levels. Some of them have only the ability to live on the surface or the underground. Different monsters all have different ecologies. For example, the Etten can live both above and below ground. But the Beholder, you're never going to see him above ground. We wanted him to be special to the underground experience. And why is that important? Well, it's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's important that the experiences above and below ground be different for the player. We were really, really focused on that. So we only put monsters on certain levels that make sense. The second and more important reason, tactics. We wanted monsters to be something that you focused on when you were moving tactically through the dungeons, with your captains, with your parties and your adventure parties, using their AI to maximize their effectiveness. So down in the depths, all of these monsters will have their own kind of societies, their own kind of places where they'll inhabit, areas that they'll patrol, places that they call their home. And in order to really take advantage of them tactically, you're going to have to get to know their behaviors. You're going to have to be able to understand where they like to hang out in order to be able to outwit them and to steal their treasure. It's not just you against the monsters. The whole dungeon comes to life when you go down there. Everything in the world starts becoming much more interactive, and you actually relate with the environment in a whole different way. There are now traps that smash your units. There are pit traps and needle traps and spike traps. There are chests that you have to unlock with your rogue. There's locked doors that you have to get through with your rogue. There's secret doors. There's a whole wealth of interactive environmental objects and things that you can do. You can pick up treasure. You can find relics. You can find a healing fountain and interact with it to heal your units. The environment itself becomes the thing you play with. It's not just you versus another living entity like it is in a lot of real-time strategy games. One of the really cool new things that we're doing with dungeons and with real-time strategy in general is we have the concept of an adventure party. An adventure party is an elite group of warriors that have gone down into the dungeon for the sake of finding, heroic treasure to bring back to their armies in the above ground world. I think there's a lot of really great play here, but let's talk about the AI in specific. I mean, when you have a dungeon party, if you have a rogue in that party, he's gonna go to the head of the pack. He's actually gonna do a lot of scouting for you. When and if he detects a trap, he's actually gonna whistle and he's gonna alert by pointing where the trap is so that your party knows exactly where that trap and the danger lurks. When you go find a locked door, he's gonna be the one that runs over and unlocks it. Your warriors, they're going to get in the front of the group. Your archers are going to get in the back of the group. The spellcasters, who are probably the most fleshy and fun to eat for the monsters, they're going to get in the middle of the. They're going to be in the middle of the group, and they're going to serve as support. And your clerics are going to cast spells and still engage in combat. I mean, every single character in the game has his own specific AI for when he goes down in the dungeon. And so that's very different from the things you've seen before, where everybody kind of exhibits the same AI in a real-time strategy. Now, different units respond differently because they're of different classes.
Dragonshard, coming soon from Atari and Liquid Entertainment.